Holly is a young fairy princess who is still learning how to do magic properly. Holly lives with her daddy, mummy, and little twin sisters in the little castle, which stands in the middle of the little kingdom. Princess Holly is 8 years old. Holly's granny and grandpapa live in a castle in the clouds. Princess Holly has friends called Violet, Strawberry, Fleur, and Rosie. Ben is a young elf and is Holly's very best friend. He has a happy-go-lucky nature and only gets a bit fed up if Holly uses her fairy magic to try and win when they're playing games. Ben lives with his family and all the other elves in the great elf tree. Ben sometimes helps his dad, Mr. Elf, with the little kingdom food deliveries. Ben is very good at making things. Ben has friends called Jake, Barnaby, Toby, and Ollie. Gaston the ladybird is an extra special friend of Ben and Holly's. He is very much like a dog. He barks, pants when happy, and loves fetching little sticks. Being a ladybird, he has wings just like Holly's, so he often gives Ben a lift on his back. Gaston loves eating very smelly food, and he lives in an extremely untidy cave. Gaston has 2 nieces, Amber and Emerald, and a nephew, Keith. Gaston went to pet school to be trained by Miss Jolly, but he still likes to eat slippers. Gaston does not like going to the vet, but has 4 stickers for being brave. I'm Nanny Plum, Holly, Daisy and Poppy's fairy maid and teacher. I'm a grown-up fairy, so I'm very good at flying and magic. But sometimes even my spells don't work out quite as I expected. I speak many animal languages. I learnt magic at Mrs. Fig's magic school. My favourite spell is to turn them into a frog. Wise old elf is wise, old and an elf. He's the elf children's teacher. The wise old elf is also in charge of the wonderful elf factory at the very bottom of the great elf tree. The wise old elf strongly disapproves of magic of any kind. Wise old elf is also a children's entertainer known as Wizardo. He is also the wise old tailor and librarian. Wise old elf lives at the top of the great elf tree in room 98. King and Queen Thistle have a lot of important work to do, running the little kingdom and doing this and that. As well as being king and queen, they are Holly, Daisy and Poppy's daddy and mummy, so they have to do everyday things like shopping, bathing the children, putting them to bed and reading them stories. King Thistle does not like celebrating his birthday. Queen Thistle's most prized possession is her fairy tea set. King Thistle reads a newspaper called Zap. Daisy and Poppy. Daisy and Poppy are Holly's baby twin sisters. They are not very good at all at either flying or magic, but that doesn't stop them trying. They can sometimes be a bit naughty, and being little children as well as magical fairies often leads them into trouble. Daisy and Poppy love playing with their Dolly Plum doll. Daisy and Poppy have a teacher called Mrs. Fotheringill. Daisy and Poppy have friends called Tarquin, Raspberry and Nettle. Mr. Elf is Ben's dad. He loves working so much that he finds it difficult to relax. Mrs. Elf is Ben's mum. Being an elf, she's brave, strong and very good at doing lots and lots of things. Mr. and Mrs. Elf and Ben live in the great elf tree. Mr. Elf drives the elf truck that delivers food to the fairies at the little castle. Mrs. Elf is particularly good at throwing things. Mr. Elf has lost lots of boats to the giant fish, Big Bad Barry.